Welcome back to another exciting episode of the top 100 golf balls for 2025. Continuing on our fabulous series where at the end of the year I rank every golf ball I tested this year. And now we are getting to the good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We really are. This is 50 through 41. Now listen, these golf balls, these are legit. Anything in the top 50 as far as I'm concerned is worth playing. I know from the outside in, if you just look on paper, you're like, 47th, that doesn't seem that good. But trust me, it is. Remember, golf balls are about fitting. They're about finding what works for your game. So just because I didn't have all the success doesn't mean you won't. Let's dive right in. As always, thank you so much to everyone who likes, comments, subscribes. I really appreciate it a ton. The engagement on this channel is just fabulous. And also, I do appreciate everyone who's a member of the channel. It just starts at $1 a month, and all you gotta do is click that join button after you click subscribe. That helps me provide even more content and allows us to, test 120 golf balls in a year and do this and rank them and have fun and be silly at the end of the year. So thank you to everyone who does that. All right, so diving into these, let's go ahead and start with number 50, which it's a nice round number. I like that. At number 50, we have the Taylormade Speed Soft. Now, this is a golf ball that is really loved by a lot of slower swingers, mid-swingers. I think what's really cool about it for me personally is this is the golf ball where, if you remember the review I did, I tested not only just the white version, but the ink version, because it comes from a different factory, but also the yellow version. And that's where we really figured out, I think, as a community, maybe some of you already knew, I kind of had an idea, but not to this degree, that golf balls are different depending on the color, depending on the design, they make them differently. And these three golf balls had totally different results. The ink didn't even make the top 100 list. This one's at 50. We haven't mentioned the yellow yet, so there's a huge difference there. And we are going to do some more experimentation next year. We're going to do some heavy testing in depth with different colors and designs, all that good stuff. I'm really excited about it. But getting to this one specifically, if we look at the numbers here, as you can tell, 50-yard spin, no, it's not going to win any awards, but it is still pretty decent. But when it comes to pitching wedge yards and pitching wedge ball speed, top notch. Really, really good. It's explosive, which that's a really good sign that it's going to be great for a slower swinger is when it has pop off the pitching wedge. But it doesn't stop there. 7-iron, we're also looking at 11th in yards. 4th in ball speed, heck yeah, let's go. Again, spin, not the greatest, but I promise you this golf ball will stop on a green. I have no issues out there when I do course testing. Now driver, yeah, as you can tell, 106th, 87th, 110th. Not great, right? But actually, I don't mind that because the reality is when I'm looking at a golf ball that's intended for slower swingers, the biggest sign in the world I look for is, does it perform with the pitching wedge? Does it perform with the 7-iron? I know the driver is not going to be good because as a mid to fast swinger, I know that once I get to the driver, I'm going to overcompress it. That's what those numbers are from and you're seeing. So this golf ball for slower to mid swingers is pretty phenomenal. It really is. It's a great option. In fact, if we look at the intangibles, durability was a 9 out of 10, forgiveness was a 4 out of 5, and greenside spin, I actually rated it at 35%, which is really good for a two-piece. It's not that the golf ball has a ton of rotation, but it's so soft that it has a nice soft landing and it makes it stop a few feet shorter. I like that. Great golf ball. At number 49, we are looking at the Snyder Ace. This is the last of the Snyder lineup for this list. And as you guys know, Snyder's dominated when it comes to spin. When I originally tested the whole Snyder lineup, I didn't think the Ace was necessarily the best. But again, sometimes you have to take a step back. You have to look at all the numbers, the metrics. And after doing that, yeah, it kind of is. So if we look at the actual performance, as far as the numbers, looking at that, as you can see, 6th when it came to 50-yard spin. Again, just short game spin with these golf balls is truly phenomenal. Pitching wedge yards and pitching wedge mile per hour, not the best, but look at pitching wedge spin. First, and not close. over 8,000 RPM. It's the only golf ball this year to get over 8,000 RPM. Just insanity, bonkers, Laffy Taffy, Looney Tunes. 65th with the 7-yard, or 7-iron, excuse me, when it comes to distance. You know, the rest of it's just okay. Ball speed with the driver, 25th. Really, really good. Now, you might look at the rest of those numbers and go, okay, Nick, again, it spins really great, but what exactly does it do well the rest of the way? The intangibles. If we look at the intangibles here, as you can see, it had a 5 out of 5 when it came to accuracy as well as consistency. Distance control was phenomenal with this golf ball. I also gave it a 5 out of 5 when it comes to forgiveness. You know, the golf ball, some of those small details sometimes get overlooked, even by me. Even sometimes I make the mistake. And what I thought of when I was looking over this was that Spider-Man meme, if you've ever seen the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, where his boss, who's a jerk-off, played by J.K. Simmons, he looks at the wall and sees the Spider-Man outfit, and he says, Spider-Man was a hero, I just couldn't see it. That's kind of how I feel about this golf ball. I'm looking at it and I'm like, the ace was a true hero. I just couldn't see it. And then I realized the price and I go, it's a menace to society. Okay, maybe not, but still, the price is the main issue with this golf ball. It's really expensive, but spin-wise, forgiveness-wise, if you're gonna try a Snyder ball, the ace is a great place to start, that's for sure. At number 48, we're looking at the Callaway Super Fast. This is a golf ball that has always been really dear to my heart. It actually was in the top 5 one time on this top 100 list, but we've changed how we do the metrics. We've now done, you know, accuracy, and we have all these new metrics and stuff, and so it kind of falls a little bit. But don't sleep on this golf ball. No, it doesn't spin. It's super fast, not super spin. So, I mean, it's designed to just go forever, and boy, is that what it does. If we look at the numbers here, looking at the super fast, actually 48th and 50-yard spin is way better than I thought it would be. But pitching wedge yards and pitching wedge ball speed, top 20, just phenomenal. 7-iron when it comes to yards is just phenomenal. But look at the mile per hour in the spin. So the yards is incredible because the spin is so low. That's what the golf ball truly is intended for. It's just a distance ball, but it's so cheap. 38th, 41st, and 42nd. That 38th should be in green, excuse me. That should be a green. That's phenomenal. You know, this golf ball has always been very clear about what it's intended for. Like, it's not going to spin. It's just really bouncy. And, you know, even when I would test it with a wedge from chipping, boing, it's gone. You know, and that's from like 10 feet out. And I'm like, that's crazy. This is a really cool golf ball. You get 15 in a pack, and you only pay like 30 bucks for it. It's a great value. If we look at the intangibles, what I really liked about it is that it actually, no, I'm sorry, let me correct that. I didn't like any of the intangibles. The performance is really, really good, but when it comes to the intangibles, it is a 4 out of 10 on durability. It's one of the worst durabilities I've seen this year, and even from Callaway, I expect a lot better. You know, accuracy and all that stuff, it's all mediocre. There was nothing that stood out. Disappointing, but it's one of those golf balls where, I don't know. You know what you're getting into, right? It's a super fast. You're going to get more distance. Good luck with anything else. At number 47, we have the Volvik Vimat. Look, I know the Volvik fatigue is real at this point. I really do. But this is a good golf ball. It is a matte golf ball. I know matte golf balls we kind of have mixed feelings about, at least I do at this point, but I can't argue with the numbers here. If we look at the numbers, you know, when it comes to the Volvik Vimat, it doesn't spin a lot when it comes to short game, but if we look specifically at the pitching wedge spin, it's phenomenal. If we look at the 7-iron distance, the 7-iron ball speed, wow. You know, I mean, those are top 16, top 10. I love to see that. And then when we get to driver, it does spin a lot with the driver, but look at the distance still and the ball speed, still excellent. Overall, a solid performance. Now, do I expect you to look at that and go, wow, I'm going to go buy it right now? Of course not. But if we look at the intangibles here, this is where it really comes in hot. Looking at the Volvik Vimat, it had a 4 out of 5 when it came to consistency. It had a 5 out of 5 when it came to accuracy. 9 out of 10 on durability, which is just awesome. It's going to last you a long time. 4 out of 5 on forgiveness. It's a really good golf ball as far as just staying in the fairway, being consistent, lowering your score. You know, you're not a great golfer yet. You're just trying to keep it in play. It's a great option. So, you know, again, do I expect you to go out specifically and buy one from Volvik's website because that's kind of the only place you can get these from? No, but if you do find one or somehow fate happens and you come across one, it's a good golf ball. Go ahead and give it a try. It's definitely worth it. At number 46. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh. Uh-oh. This is a hot take. This is a hot take. This is a golf ball that many of you play, many of you know. It's a big golf ball name. What could it be? At number 46, we have... Yeah, the Vice Pro Air. Again, we've mentioned it a couple times on this list that the Vice lineup, there's something off about them. They've taken a step back. I don't know if they're starting to cut cost. I don't know, right? But let's be real for a second. The Vice Pro Air is still an amazing model. It's still really great. When we look at design, when we look at, you know, the uniqueness of it, when we look at what can we compare it to, right? What would you compare it to? If you want to compare it to the Q-Star Tour, I mean, Q-Star Tour didn't even make this list. When we look at golf balls that have a 3-piece urethane model that are for slower swingers, there's not too many that can outdo the Vice Air, especially when it comes to the intangibles. But first, let's start with the ball speed. Let's start with the, you know, the metrics. Looking at the Vice Pro Air, it doesn't spin a ton with 50-yard spin. That's fine. But check out the pitching wedge performance. Second and third, this golf ball has explosive distance when it comes to the pitching wedge. Now, does it spin a lot? No, it doesn't. I understand. It doesn't spin a lot. That's the main knock against it. 7 iron on yards, 18th. Excellent. Mile per hour, middle of the pack, still really good. Spin, my goodness. How did it manage to get 111th in both categories? That's pretty hilarious. Driver, look at the driver. Not bad. That's pretty good. I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll take it. I really will. I like that a lot. Look, is it kind of a little bit roller coastery? Sure. But the reality is this is a distance golf ball for people who swing just a tad slower, like mid-fast, mid-slow, somewhere in that range. That's what's cool about Vice. The personality, the intangibles. Let's look at the intangibles. If we look at them, as you can see, 9 out of 10 durability. It still has one of the best durabilities on the market. It spun 45% with greenside chipping, which is awesome, especially for a low spin model. 4 out of 5 and 4 out of 5, both on accuracy and distance control consistency. It's awesome. It really is. I know it wasn't perfect. I know it kind of stuttered a little bit. It's still a really great golf ball. And if you haven't tried it yet and you think that those numbers would fit what you're looking for, if you're looking for a little bit more distance and you're a high spin player, give it a try. And give this Tracer model a try. This will help you with your driving, your putting. Trust me, it does. At number 45, we're looking at the Srixon Z-Star XV or 15, or I don't know how you want to pronounce it, whatever. I'm actually really surprised the ball got this high. You know, in the past years, when I've always tested these golf balls, I've always run into a similar issue, right? The Z-Star tests really good. The Z-Star Diamond tests really good. But for some reason, the XV just never really tests exactly how I want it to. Why that is, I think it's just a swing speed issue. A lot of you tell me you really love it, but you also swing faster than I do. So of course that makes sense. So when I saw this golf ball get this high, I was happy for it. You know, I give it an attaboy because look at the, you know, metrics here. 50-yard spin, maybe not the greatest, but still a solid number. Look at the pitching wedge spin in the green there. Distance is just fine. Mile per hour is even better. But look at the 7-iron performance. 39th in ball speed, 11th in spin, and then driver, you know, maybe not the best. And I think that's the big concern I have with it is it just could have been better when it came to the driver. If it had a better driver performance, it could be a top 30 ball, a top 20 ball. But it's not for my swing speed. I get that. The fact that it got this high and it's not intended for me is truly special. It really is. Like when you have a golf ball that's not intended for you and it doesn't fit your game and it still ends up in the top 50, if you're a fast swinger and you think you're good enough to play a tour ball, give the XV a try. Also, intangibles, real quick. 75% on the spin, greenside chipping, one of the best I've seen this year by far. I mean, just amazing. 4 out of 5 on accuracy, which is great, but where did it get hurt? 2 out of 5 on the consistency and distance control. I struggled with it. It's a very high risk, high reward golf ball. And then 2 out of 5 on forgiveness, and that kind of ties into that as well. So because it's that golf ball that has so much explosiveness, when you pure it, it's a thing of beauty. It really is. But if you don't pure it, look out. And I don't mean look out on you. I mean look out for the houses on the right. Look out for the houses on the left. Grandma's over here mowing her yard. I'm so sorry. Look out. That's how bad it was. So again, if you're a really good golfer, great ball striker, and you're looking for a tour ball, but you don't want to spend 55, 60 a dozen, the XV could be for you. At number 44, we have the Hanma TWX, one of my biggest surprises of the year, one of my favorite golf balls to review, one of my favorite reviews I've done. I love the Hanma series. It's been such a refreshing thing. Is there a little bit of personal bias in here? Sure, but I have to go by the numbers. And this golf ball, if it was up to me, would be top 10. It's not up to me, it's up to the numbers, right? Let's look at the performance metrics. When it comes to this golf ball that's intended for very fast swing speeds because it is an X model, it spins very well on the 50-yard pitch. It looks great when it comes to the 7-iron. Driver, 19th in yards, 6th in ball speed. That's awesome for the driver. The main knocks I had against it was it didn't spin as much as I thought it would. It didn't spin on the 7-iron. It didn't spin on the driver. Well, actually, it did spin on the driver. That's the problem. It had such high spin. And I've actually done a little bit of on-course testing with this golf ball to see if it could be my gamer. The main issue I'm running into is that I hit the ball, if you close the face a little much, that extra spin, wow. Yeah, it's behind me. I'm like, what? A hook turned into like, okay, it's behind. I don't get it. It's so much spin. So do you need to be an excellent player to play it? Probably, 4 or 5 handicap or less. I'll tell you what, $36 to $40 a dozen for a tour quality golf ball of this caliber, the value is insane. And in fact, it's not just the value. If we look at some of the other intangibles, I'll tell you what, guys, 65% on the spin was awesome. 9 out of 10 durability, that's great. The value, like I said, is awesome. Now, 2 out of 5 on the consistency, the distance control. A lot of X model golf balls, for me and for average golfers, they have a lot of high risk, high reward, meaning that if you pure them, let's say 7-iron, right? You pure it 170, 175, you mishit it 150. It's a pretty good model. And if you're tired of paying those prices for Pro Vs, I would check it out. And number 43. Yeah, the Volvik Christie Combi. I know, the Volvik fatigue is real, but this is actually a really cool golf ball, and please allow me to explain. This actually combines 2 of my favorite designs on a golf ball. First of all, starting, of course, with the divide, right? It has half one color, half the other, which is great for alignment and practice, but it also has a crystal urethane, which is kind of glowing in the light, has a glitteriness to it. It's really easy to find in the rough or whatever, and so you don't lose as many of them. I love that design, but also the metrics are pretty good too. If we look at it, 50-yard spin, 53rd, that's awesome. That's nothing to shake a stick at. We look at pitching wedge performance, awesome. Look at that distance, both in the green. 7-iron may not be perfect, but it's all in the low yellows. I love to see that. And then look at the ball speed on the driver. Look at the distance on the driver. That's awesome. Spin might have been a little high. Who cares? That's an overall really impressive performance. And if we look at the intangibles, it's even better. The intangibles we look at, as you can see, 5 out of 5 when it comes to the accuracy, 10 out of 10 when it comes to durability. This golf ball actually has some really cool features about it. Now, the value isn't the greatest. Again, do I expect you to go out to Volvik and buy one? Maybe not. But this is a solid golf ball. And if I had to like pick 2 or 3 models from Volvik specifically that like, hey, you have to try this, this would be one of them. At number 42, we're looking at one of my all-time favorites on the channel, the Wright and Ditson golf ball. If you're a golf ball addict and you watch this channel at all, you know I adore this golf ball. I wish it had gotten higher, but there was a couple glaring issues. When I really dove into the testing this year and I got a little more detailed than we did last year, I uncovered a couple of truths that I didn't test for, search for, whatever last year. I want to talk about those in a second, but let's look at the metrics first. If we look at it, when it comes to the 50-yard spin, just phenomenal. Top 10, awesome. Pitching wedge, yards, and ball speed, not great. Not great at all. 7-iron when it comes to spin is great, but when it comes to distance, bupkis. It is bupkis, unfortunately. But where this golf ball really makes its mark and really, defines itself is its driver performance. 5th when it comes to yards, 4th when it comes to ball speed, and 41st, which is awesome when it comes to the spin. This golf ball is notorious because last year when I tested it, I was so blown away at the distance and just everything. What I really love about it is that it's $30 a dozen. It's a 4-piece urethane. It's really unique. It's different. It stands out from the crowd. I love that. I mean, what else could you really ask for? It's a firm golf ball. Last year, I didn't notice it because the Mizunos kind of hid that. They hid a lot of that feel. Now that I have a different set of clubs this year, I noticed how firm it was. I noticed how unforgiving it was. That's what pushed it down the list a little bit. Is this still an awesome golf ball for the price? Yeah, but it's for fast swingers. It's a 4-piece. It's firm. It's a distance ball. It's designed to go, 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 go. And it does. It goes forever. But you need to be probably 105 mile per hour or better. And if you are, and you like these cool designs, you like the fact that it's a boutique ball, it's different, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. At number 41, to finish off... Oh no, another one? Oh no, what could it be? I don't know. At number 41, we have... Oh, the Z-Star. What a golf ball. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh crap, why so low? I thought this was going to be a top 10. I thought this was going to be a top 20. Relax, it's all good. I have absolutely nothing but love for the Z-Star. Now, when it comes to the Z-Star in specific, let's look at the metrics first, okay? 32nd when it came to 50-yard spin, just incredible. 39th when it came to yards with the pitching wedge. Ball speed is 11th, and spin is relatively okay. There's obviously a launch issue in there, but that's okay. 7-iron, green, all great. Now when we get to the driver, that's where the issues begin. 105th, 107th, and 93rd. Now, real quick, let's look at intangibles. Looking at the intangibles, this golf ball had 90% spin on the green side. That is by far a top 2, top 3 golf ball on the year when it comes to that. 10 out of 10 durability, awesome. 2 out of 5 on consistency, unfortunately, is what pushed this golf ball down. But this is a golf ball that had a 5 out of 5 feel, not only on pure hits, but also when it came to miss hits as well. So when it comes to the Z-Star, you know, I thought of a good metaphor. I tried for a while to find a good metaphor, and here's kind of what I came up with. When I was growing up, everybody always talked about Ferraris and Lamborghinis like as being the Bugattis, right? The pinnacle car, right? You always think of those foreign models that are really fast, and you're like, yeah, you know, the motor, V12, it just 0 to 60 in 1.7 seconds, and you're like, yeah. And then you kind of do a deep dive on them, and you realize, oh, well, they don't even have cup holders. They don't come with a radio. Like they just, you know, they're just fast. Like it's all the money you're paying for is in the motor, you know, and it's a stick shift, you know, and it's all about just the speed and the motor and the smoothness, and that's great, right? That's kind of what some of these other tour balls, not to mention a name, but other tour balls remind me of. But then there's like a Lexus, right? And Lexus doesn't get a lot of love. It's kind of more of a underground, you know, under the radar car, but it's got a Toyota motor, so you know it's going to last forever. It has a lot of luxury features. You know, it has the seat warmers. It has the beautiful display. It has, you know, all this, you know, entertainment system, yada, yada, yada. It has these leather seats that are really soft and the lumbar support, right? All the small details. That's kind of what the Z-Star reminds me of. It doesn't get the credit it deserves. It doesn't get the notoriety that a Lamborghini or a Ferrari gets. It has, I mean, just incredible feel and touch around the green. There's nothing better than a Z-Star. The only golf ball to, well, at least only of like 2 or 3, to get 5 out of 5 feel on pure and on miss hits. It's the best feeling tour ball by far. It's not close. The Z-Star isn't intended to blow you away off the tee, to just go forever. That's not what its design is. It's designed to have all those small details figured out. It's supposed to be consistent. It's supposed to be bendable left and right. It's supposed to have touch and feel. It's for the guys who ball strike and who are tinkerers and who craft their game beyond what most of you and I will ever accomplish. And does it get punished a little bit for it? Sure. Is that fair? No. But that's life, right? Because it's just like with the Lamborghini. Does the Lexus get punished? Yeah, no one talks about Lexus. I never hear anyone talk about them. But the true people who really know cars, no. You're telling me I'm getting a Toyota motor, but also with luxury features at an affordable price? I'll take that. Guys, that is 50 through 41. I have a surprise for you. 40 through 31 has no Volvik models. You're welcome. It ended up that way. But I'm just saying, I looked at that beforehand because I know a lot of you have been commenting on it. There's none. So in 2 days, I will see you for even better golf balls, even better performances without that Volvik fatigue. I'm excited. There's going to be even better models. Let's go. Enjoy this. As always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here.